She came to a match once, like super brief, and I was like, oh my God, is she wearing sun cream? Like, is she, it's nuts. And so I would get stressed out. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, wait a minute, I gotta serve. Okay, in our new edition, there's three of us here.
There are three.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Serena! The secret's out.
At 44, Serena Williams has finally broken her silence, and what she confirmed has shattered the fairy tale millions believed in. For nearly a decade, fans watched the world's greatest athlete and a Silicon Valley visionary build what looked like the perfect modern marriage. Their story began in 2015, when Serena was in Rome preparing for the Italian Open, laser-focused on extending her already historic tennis legacy. Alexis Ohanian, meanwhile, was in town for a tech conference representing the world he helped shape as the co-founder of Reddit. Their universes could not have been more different, one built on physical intensity, the other on digital innovation, but fate engineered a collision neither could have predicted. The spark ignited at the Cavalieri Hotel pool, where Serena found Alexis casually sitting at the table she had intended to use. He wasn't some polished executive. He was hungover from a night out with actress Kristen Wiig. Serena, amused and mildly irritated, tried to shoo him away, but Alexis didn't budge, and that unexpected boldness intrigued her. Their conversation was light, playful, and strangely magnetic. Serena later admitted she felt something unusual: curiosity, the one thing she rarely experienced outside of competition. A moment that could have ended as an awkward poolside misunderstanding transformed into a cross-continental connection. Serena invited Alexis to meet her in Paris for the French Open, a gesture so unexpected that Alexis later confessed he didn't believe she was serious. But he went anyway, and Paris changed everything. Their first date lasted 6 hours. They wandered through Parisian streets talking about childhood dreams, fears, ambitions, and the strange feeling that life had orchestrated something bigger than both of them. By September 2015, Alexis was in Serena's player box at the US Open, cheering with the enthusiasm of a lifelong tennis fanatic, even though, in truth, he had barely watched tennis before meeting her. His transformation was instant, wholehearted, genuine. Their romance unfolded like a story written for the digital age. Witty social media posts, playful banter, public support, and a shared willingness to embrace each other's radically different worlds. Serena introduced Alexis to the discipline and sacrifice of elite sports. Alexis exposed Serena to tech culture, startup energy, and the intellectual chaos of Silicon Valley. It was a fusion that fascinated the world. Then, in December 2016, Alexis proposed at the exact same hotel table where they first met. Serena announced their engagement on Reddit in a poetic post that had fans swooning. Everything about their story appeared serendipitous, cinematic, and destined. But the fairy tale glow would not last forever. The early years of their relationship were filled with milestones: a pregnancy Serena unintentionally revealed on Snapchat, a wedding in New Orleans attended by Beyoncé and Jay-Z, Vogue magazine covers with baby Olympia, and Serena winning the Australian Open while 2 months pregnant. Their love story wasn't just romantic, it felt mythological. The greatest athlete in the world and the tech billionaire who adored her. What could possibly go wrong? But the signs began subtly, quietly, almost invisibly. And by 2024, those subtle clues had turned into something impossible to ignore. The couple who once built their brand on openness and shared joys gradually shifted into silence. Serena, once comfortable showcasing their partnership publicly, stopped posting photos with Alexis. She began attending major events alone: fashion shows, business launches, red carpets. The wedding ring that once gleamed proudly on her hand vanished from her appearances. Alexis posted less about Serena and more about his work, his ventures, and his daughters. Their lives, once intertwined, were beginning to drift into separate universes again. This time, not pulled together by fate, but pulled apart by life. What the world didn't know yet was that behind the polished Instagram facade lay a marriage quietly unraveling, and the first cracks would soon become impossible to hide. By early 2024, the storybook image of Serena Williams and Alexis Ohanian, once held up as the perfect merger of sports royalty and tech brilliance, began to quietly unravel. It didn't happen with a scandal, a public argument, or a headline-making announcement. Instead, the shift came softly, almost invisibly, through subtle decisions and patterns that only became obvious when pieced together. Their marriage hadn't exploded. It had begun to fade, quietly, slowly, and painfully. For years, Serena had been the emotional heartbeat of their shared public life. She posted the anniversary tributes, the loving shout-outs, the candid moments of Alexis being a devoted father. She was deliberate about celebrating him, not because it was expected, but because she believed in making her love visible. And then, without warning, all of it stopped. Fans noticed first. The captions changed, the tone shifted, and Serena, always expressive, grew noticeably silent about her husband. The real turning point came after the birth of their second daughter, Adira, in August 2023. What should have been a unifying chapter subtly pulled them apart. Serena's body had been through two extremely difficult pregnancies, the first nearly taking her life. Her postpartum recovery, both physical and emotional, was more demanding than the public ever knew. And while Alexis was present, documenting cheerful fatherhood moments, something in their dynamic had shifted beneath the surface. In the private space between being partners and simply co-parents, Serena threw herself into work, partly out of passion, partly out of necessity. Retirement hadn't offered her rest. It had opened the door to an entirely new empire. Serena Ventures was scaling rapidly. Her fashion and beauty lines demanded attention. Brand partnerships, board positions, keynote speeches, her schedule never slowed. She wasn't just a former athlete, she was building a global business legacy meant to outlive her tennis career. Meanwhile, Alexis's responsibilities mounted as well. His investments, tech commitments, and public appearances required constant travel and long hours. Two people who once synchronized their wildly different worlds suddenly found themselves drifting in opposite directions, orbiting separate solar systems that intersected only when required. The distance grew even more visible online. Serena, who had once proudly showcased their partnership, began removing photos of Alexis from her Instagram, quietly, methodically, without explanation. She unfollowed him entirely, a digital gesture that spoke louder than words. It wasn't dramatic, it was decisive. Fans caught it immediately, sparking rumors that spread faster than either of them could contain. Alexis, for his part, kept a handful of Serena images on his feed, but even his posts changed. Where he once celebrated Serena with admiration and playful enthusiasm, he shifted focus almost entirely to business updates, photos with their daughters, or tech events. The couple who once curated their love story now looked like two professionals maintaining a polite separation. The wedding ring disappearance was impossible to ignore. Serena, meticulous, intentional, image-conscious, stopped wearing it to events, photo shoots, and public outings. Whether it was a symbolic release or a quiet plea for privacy, only she knew. But to the outside world, it was unmistakable. A woman as detail-driven as Serena doesn't remove a ring by accident. Then came Father's Day 2024, the moment that made fans collectively gasp. Serena posted nothing. No tribute, no message, not even a story. For a family-oriented woman who always celebrated her loved ones, the silence felt like a final thread snapping. Meanwhile, Alexis posted about the holiday himself, focusing on the children rather than Serena or their partnership. Public appearances only made the situation more confusing. Serena attended fashion weeks, brand launches, and high-profile galas alone. She sat front row beside Anna Wintour, Zendaya, and countless A-listers. But the empty space where Alexis once stood was glaring. Serena's smile was still dazzling, her outfits breathtaking, her presence magnetic. But something softer, more intimate was missing. The one event that temporarily calmed the rumors came in July 2024, when Alexis posted a photo of the two of them smiling at dinner. It looked warm, intimate, almost familiar. His wedding ring was visible. Serena leaned in. He captioned it simply, "GM." Some fans took it as proof. Everything was fine, but others knew better. It felt curated, like a reassurance posted for the public, not a moment captured spontaneously. A single picture couldn't erase months of silence. And behind that picture lay a deeper truth. Serena and Alexis were operating like two people who still respected each other, still cared, but no longer fit together the way they once had. Their lives were diverging, not in anger, but in evolution. Serena had become a titan outside of tennis, a global powerhouse whose ambitions demanded independence. Alexis had built his own empire with commitments that rarely aligned with hers. Two extraordinary individuals, growing in extraordinary but different directions. This was no scandal, no betrayal, no explosive fight. It was the slow erosion that happens when two people change at different speeds in different ways under the weight of careers, fame, family, and personal transformation. And although neither had yet spoken publicly, everything around them, the unfollows, the missing ring, the silence, the separate events, the shifted priorities, was speaking for them. The fairy tale wasn't shattered. It was simply fading. By late 2024, the distance between Serena Williams and Alexis Ohanian was no longer subtle. It was visible, measurable, and undeniable. What began as scattered rumors had sharpened into a pattern even the most optimistic fans could no longer ignore. The marriage that once felt like a modern fairy tale, tech royalty meets tennis royalty, was quietly dissolving in real time, piece by piece, post by post. The first major shift was silence. Serena, who had always been generous with her affection online, suddenly retreated behind a wall. Posts that once displayed travel snapshots, behind-the-scenes glimpses, and cozy family moments were replaced with carefully curated business updates, solo red carpet photos, and inspirational captions that felt heavier, subtle, loaded. Meanwhile, Alexis remained active online, but his content changed too. He still posted about the girls, Olympia helping him cook, little Adira wrapped in his arms, their weekend activities. But Serena was conspicuously absent. It wasn't anger, not even coldness. It was emotional distancing disguised as routine. Fans caught on quickly. Social media has a way of revealing cracks long before celebrities speak, and the cracks here became canyons. Serena unfollowed Alexis first, quietly, without announcement, without explanation. Then came the second blow. She began removing photos of him from her page, not all at once, but strategically, gradually, as though letting go piece by piece was easier than doing it all in one painful sweep. Alexis, in contrast, kept several pictures of Serena on his own account, old memories, anniversaries, family vacations. But even his page told a story. The more Serena vanished from his public world, the more his captions shifted from we to I, from us to the girls and I. They were coexisting, not co-building. The real tipping point, however, came from Serena herself. In October 2024, she shared a cryptic message that shook the internet. Sometimes the people closest to you can rob you of joy. Protect your peace. Walk away from anything that doesn't serve your soul. There was no name attached, no specifics, but fans didn't need them. The writing had been on the wall for a year. Now it was engraved in stone. Insiders later revealed that the couple had been attending separate events for months, not because of scheduling issues, but because they had mutually agreed it was simpler that way. Serena needed space to grow her business empire and rebuild her identity post-tennis. Alexis needed space to expand his ventures and navigate the challenges of new parenthood. Both were busy, but the busyness wasn't just about work, it was emotional camouflage. Publicly, they still appeared united when the moment required it. But privately, they were unraveling. Even the partnership that once defined their relationship support began to shift. Alexis, once Serena's biggest cheerleader in the stands, no longer traveled to events with her. Serena, who once spoke proudly about Alexis's achievements in tech, stopped referencing him altogether. When she did appear publicly, she was surrounded not by her husband, but by her long-trusted circle. Venus, her mother Oracene, her sisters, and her business partners. Her ring finger remained bare. The most heartbreaking contrast came from remembering their early years, a relationship built on laughter, curiosity, and spontaneity. Alexis once flew across the world to surprise Serena at a tournament. She once rearranged her training schedule just to attend one of his conferences. They had met in a moment of coincidence and built a life on synchronicity. But somewhere between parenthood, retirement, and the weight of global expectations, that synchronicity fractured. One source described it simply: they didn't stop loving each other. They just stopped meeting each other where they were. Their final recorded public moment, the advertisement where they quizzed each other about their relationship, felt to fans like a performance with muted warmth. There were smiles, but not the spark. There were jokes, but not the chemistry. For many viewers, it seemed like an echo of who they used to be, not who they still were. Behind the scenes, lawyers were reportedly involved, though discreetly. Nothing public, nothing messy. Both Serena and Alexis valued privacy above all, especially for their daughters. Whatever decisions they made, they were determined to protect Olympia and Adira from the spectacle so often attached to celebrity breakups. Yet despite trying to control the narrative, emotional truth has a way of leaking. Fans saw it in Serena's eyes during red carpet interviews. They saw it in Alexis's captions, where the tone shifted from romantic partnership to earnest fatherhood. They saw it in the way the couple's once intertwined lives were now running parallel, but no longer touching. This wasn't a scandal. This wasn't betrayal. This wasn't a blow-up that shattered them overnight. It was the quiet kind of ending, the kind that happens when two people look up one day and realize they're no longer walking the same path. What made the situation even more poignant was Serena's journey through motherhood and identity. Retiring from tennis wasn't just stepping away from a sport, it was stepping away from the very foundation of who she had always been. For decades, tennis had been her compass. Without it, she had to rebuild her sense of self. That transition reshaped her goals, her values, and her priorities in ways that even she wasn't prepared for. Alexis faced his own evolution. He had built Reddit, launched major ventures, and become a prominent voice in the tech world. But he also became deeply devoted to raising daughters and advocating for social issues. His life expanded in ways that were meaningful, yet those expansions didn't always align with Serena's changing world. They loved each other, they still respect each other. But love alone does not guarantee alignment. The Serena-Alexis love story didn't collapse. It drifted, quietly, slowly, until one day the distance was too great to ignore. And yet, there was no villain here. No betrayal, no scandalous revelation, just two extraordinary people who built a beautiful chapter together and then outgrew it. A love that changed both their lives, just not enough to last forever. And that's where Serena Williams' story leaves us. Not with a dramatic explosion, but with a quiet truth that even legends face heartbreak. She conquered every court she ever stepped on, but life off the court doesn't play by the same rules. What she's doing now, choosing peace, choosing growth, choosing herself, might be the bravest chapter yet. If there's one thing Serena has always shown us, it's resilience. Whether this is the end of her marriage or just the beginning of a new era, she's writing her story on her own terms, just like she always has. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next story we uncover. Drop a comment below. Do you think Serena and Alexis are done for good, or is there still hope for a comeback? Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and stay tuned for more from Hoodline Gossip.